Good morning.
So tonight, this Iranian rocket attack proves that President Trump was right, wasn't he?
Well, we're obviously deeply concerned about what has happened overnight. We're still gathering information, and I expect that we will be briefed in more detail by the Israeli authorities this morning. But from what I have seen so far, I expect there will be a strong condemnation from London of the Iranian attack and a strong reiteration of Israel's right to defend itself, as there was on the 9th of February when there was the incursion of the Iranian drone.
But it seems that the Iranian regime cannot be trusted, as President Trump has said in his declaration.
Well, the Iran nuclear deal was never based on trust. It was based on verification. And indeed, that was the very purpose of the nuclear deal, that there had been so little trust between all the sides over the years. And we, as my Prime Minister has said, we deeply regret the fact that the US are withdrawing from the Iran nuclear deal because, in our view, it has contributed to stability in the region and security. We believe it's important for our own national security. So our priority now is to continue implementing the deal. We'll be working that implementation. But in the meantime, we will also be working to try to counter Iran's destabilizing activities in the region, which, as we saw last night, are deeply worrying.
So, Britain, you're not going to ditch this deal, despite the fact that Trump pulled out America of the deal, and despite this terror attack on Israel this night?
No, we are committed to implementation of the deal. It is really important to remember that our objective is exactly the same as the Americans' objective. Iran should not acquire a nuclear weapons capability. We have differences about how to achieve that objective, but there is absolutely no difference between us on the goal. We also share American concerns about Iran's missile program, about its destabilizing activities in the region, and we're active in trying to pursue all of those objectives. But no, in the short term, we are committed to the deal. We will continue working with our E3 and other partners to maintain the deal. We'll also be pressing Iran to make sure that it continues abiding by all of its obligations under the nuclear deal.
So what about, Ambassador Cowrie, your engagement and commitment to Israel?
Well, as I said, when there was the attack on the 9th of February this year, Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson was very clear, absolutely explicit in the UK's support for Israel's right to defend itself. It's still very early after the developments overnight, but as I said earlier, we're very concerned by those developments, and I expect, on the basis of what I've seen so far, that there will be a strong condemnation from London and indeed a strong reiteration of our support for Israel's right to defend itself. So we absolutely understand Israel's concerns about Iran's unhelpful role in the region.
However, Ambassador Cowrie, we heard Rouhani and we heard Al-Quds in Iran, and that they threatened Israel directly to destroy Israel.
Over the years, the UK many times has condemned absolutely unacceptable statements by the Iranian leadership with regard to Israel. And as I said, on the 9th of February this year, the British Foreign Secretary was very clear in his support for Israel's right to defend itself. But we think the Iran nuclear deal is the best way to prevent Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapons capability for the next 10 years or so. That's why we remain committed to its implementation. But we're also going to continue pressing Iran to pull back from its very destabilizing activities in Syria, in Yemen, in Lebanon, and elsewhere. We share many of those concerns with Israel, and we've been very clear about that.
So what is the next step, in your opinion? Can you see an alternative deal, maybe?
I don't know what will happen in terms of next steps on the nuclear deal. The Foreign Secretary, Boris Johnson, spoke in Parliament yesterday, and he said that we now await more details from the United States on how they intend to move forward. In the meantime, we will continue with implementation of the deal with those parties who are still part of the deal. But we look forward to seeing more details from the Americans about how they intend to move forward now.
Yes, we know that the US sanctions can hurt European companies and firms. Can you see how Europe can prevent it?
I don't know what will happen with that. We need to wait and see precisely what the US are going to do at this stage and how that works through. It's too early to speculate on that at the moment.
Can you believe that European firms can be hurt by these sanctions that Trump will make?
Well, it is possible, but as I say, it is too early now to make judgments about that. I think we need to wait to see the details of what the US intend to do, and indeed how they intend to move forward more broadly following the withdrawal from the nuclear deal.
Are you considering to cooperate with Russia and China in this area of the nuclear deal?
Well, they remain parties. They remain parties to the Iran nuclear deal, and I'm sure we will continue talking to them about implementation of the deal. But it's really important with regard to Russia. They are the party with the most influence on the ground in Syria at the moment. So especially given what happened overnight, it is vitally important that Russia uses the influence that it has in Syria and over Iran to pull Iran back from these incredibly destabilizing, damaging activities across the region. Russia has a very special responsibility in all of this because of the role that it has played in the Syria conflict.
Ambassador David Query, thank you so much for this interview.
Thanks very much. Thank you.